Looking back at the environment, I mean, just a show of hands, how many of you have seen or heard anything specific in terms of statistics on the state of carbon emissions and the amount of CO2 in the environment, let's say in the last year? Last year, okay. So just to recap, so why is the environment a problem? Why is carbon emission a challenge or a problem? Fossil fuels pretty much the main contributor to CO2 emissions, and most of that's coming from human economic activity, especially in the last 20 years. Current CO2 levels in the ozone and the environment is the highest in 650,000 years. So we have a problem, and we have a problem that is not going away. But what you're going to see through our presentation is that we're not just looking at the aspect of carbon emissions. We're looking at other aspects such as recycling, other aspects, water conservation and everything else as we're looking at the complete puzzle in terms of the environmental impact of your business. Why is this important? For those of you who maybe really are not that interested in the environment, or we've spoken at various functions where, especially with the current economic climate, people are more concerned about the bottom line and their business, and they say, well, why? I don't want to deal with this right now. I'll deal with it when the economy gets better, when we can really focus on the environment again. Well, it's important on many levels, but one of the key things is regulation is coming. In April 2007, Canada released the Turning the Corner document, which is an action plan, which is to force the industry to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions, setting up carbon emission trading market, including offset system, and I'll get a little bit into that, and establishing a market price for carbon. And from a regulation standpoint, it's not just the aspect of reduction or the actual cost of reduction and taxation. I mean, we just saw the failed attempt at a carbon tax program under the Liberals in the federal election. But it's not just about carbon taxation. It's about a general movement by municipalities, provinces, and states in the United States to try to tackle this issue of carbon emissions, to improve the quality of the environment, the quality of breathing air, and work together and create a financial mechanism and incentive to help the different regions to meet those targets in terms of carbon emissions. And in terms of carbon trading, going carbon neutral is a term you'll probably hear quite often, and it's something which is gaining momentum. What does that mean? Well, it means right now that given current technology, and from a sustainable standpoint financially, certain industries are more disposed, more able to take advantage of new technologies, green technologies, and reduce their own carbon footprint. But as was alluded to earlier, there's quite often a bit of a cost associated, or upfront costs in R&D, in terms of development, tooling, early adopters sometimes. If their business plans and their project plans are not clearly defined, they don't derive the full benefit of those plans, or it can be a little bit more costly than expected. The carbon offset program, or basically carbon trading, is arising as a way for companies that have the initiative, the budgets, and the ability to incorporate green initiatives to be able to actually trade based on the amount of carbon credits they've earned by reducing their own carbon footprint, therefore allowing them to recover on various markets that are now being formed, the ability to fund those projects and those initiatives that they have to reduce their carbon footprint, get some money back, and then allowing other industries that take some time to catch up, or that where the technology is not mature enough to really have a significant impact in terms of their carbon footprint, to at least be able to continue to operate, but on the aggregate, controlling the total levels of CO2 emissions. And that's something which is, very little is said about it, but probably in the next 5 to 10 years, carbon trading will be a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? With just in terms of the financial trading mechanisms, but then with all of the other green technologies and other companies that will be part of that overall ecosystem, it's going to be a major factor in the world economy.